So, the world is changing rapidly. It's a lot different. It's not a pretty picture what's going on, folks. And we're going to stop it. We're going to stop it. You know, I've been doing this since June 16th, so tomorrow, and it'll be 1 year. And I came down those escalators, and who knew this was going to happen, right? A lot of people said, oh, I don't know. Most people say, oh, he won't run, and then boom, 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 one after another. And here we end up. Thank you, darling. I love you too. I love you too. I thank you. But it's been an amazing journey. It's been an amazing journey. And it's been incredible because I've really gotten to know the people of our country, and they are incredible, incredible people. They are unbelievable people. And they want to see us making great trade deals, and they want to see us strong at the borders because otherwise we don't have a country. And they want to see people come in that really want to be here, and they want to love us, and they don't want to do harm or hurt us. They want to see that. And if they don't see that, they're not happy. And there are a lot of people right now that are not happy. And we're not going to take it any longer. Now, we'll talk about jobs, and we'll talk about the economy, and we'll talk about all the things that I talk about, and where I seem to be hitting a chord. And, you know, part of the reason I hit a chord, because from an actual real wage standpoint, people are making less money today than they made 18 years ago, and they're working harder. They're working longer hours, and it's not good, folks. It's not good. But we had an event, a horrible, horrible event this weekend in Orlando, where 50 people, they say 49, but it'll soon probably be 50. People are so badly injured and so badly wounded sitting in hospitals. Unthinkable. And when you listen to the stories of what took place and the laughter as this man was shooting incredible people, you say to yourself, how can this possibly be happening in the United States of America? How can this be happening? And we have to be tough, and we have to be smart, and we have to be vigilant. We have to be vigilant, and we have to have people report other people when they see things happening, because they're not doing that. They're not doing it. They're not reporting people, and they have to do that. It's all right. That's okay. And this house is packed. Boy, we are packed. This is amazing. Yeah, you could get him out, or if he wants, he can stay. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. So look. We have to be strong, and we have to be smart. We can't let these things happen anymore, right? Do you agree with me, protester? You agree? Or do you think it's easy to be weak and ineffective like we are right now? Do you think that's okay? I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's okay. So we have a situation, and I say this, and I'm going to read it. I'm on the other side. I think she finally won, by the way. I think she finally won. Crooked Hillary. Crooked Hillary, ladies and gentlemen. She's as crooked as they come. As crooked as they come. So you have Hillary. I think Bernie is now out of it, right? Is he finally out? Is he gone? Boy. So I was criticized in the newspapers because I've had a staff of 73 people at their top, and I won in a landslide. She has a staff, they say, of 873 people, and she goes on and on and on. And the paper said, she has many more people than Trump. She has many, and I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, they're making it sound like that's bad for me. Isn't it great when you can win with a much smaller group of people? Isn't that what we want? And much less expense? I've spent a fraction of what she spent winning. It's like when I went to, I mean, so many places, every state. I won so many of the states, and I have such great experience, including Georgia. Boy, did we win Georgia. We won in a landslide, Georgia. And I hear we're looking like we're going to win it big in November. We have to. We're going to win it big. That's what it's looking. But I went to New Hampshire, and there's something special about New Hampshire because that was where we had our first victory, first of many. And the people were amazing. But I went to New Hampshire, and I went in there, and I got to know the people, and I saw what was happening, and I spent a tiny fraction of what the favored candidate was spending. I won't say who the favored candidate was. But I spent just a little bit, and I won New Hampshire in a landslide, and I won other states in a landslide, and I spent, and by the way, I spent my own money. I was spending my money. I didn't raise money. I spent my money. I didn't have people giving me millions and millions of dollars from Wall Street. But you know what? I won New Hampshire in a landslide. I said to myself, nobody covers it. They said, well, Trump did it on the cheap. I didn't do it. I'm like, we're intelligent people. Wouldn't it be great if we had somebody like that running our country? Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be great? So now they're saying she has built a massive team. She's got almost 900 people. She's spending money. And Trump has 73 people. But you know, we're doing very well. Watch what the end result is. Watch what the end result is. And when you look at the phony poll numbers that I'm seeing, take a look at the poll numbers from right after this horrendous and horrible and something we have to stop fast attack. Take a look over the last couple of days, because I'll tell you, people are tired. They want to have strength. They want to have intelligence. They don't want to make an Iran deal, the Iran deal where we give them $150 billion. We get nothing. We get nothing. They don't want to have trade deals where China has got a trade deficit, we do with China, of $505 billion a year, where we have trade deficits, massive trade deficits with Mexico, with Japan, with Vietnam, with India, with everybody, folks, with everybody. I mean, practically every country in the world, when they do business with the United States, it's called, let's rip them off. It's like we're all the big, bad dummies. Those days are over if I win. Those days are over. They're over. Now, I have to talk about this for just a little while because of the horrible situation that we all just saw and saw so vividly. But we have to talk about it, and then we're going to get on to other things, but it's so important because I've been talking about it for a long time. And I've been saying it's going to happen. And I hate to say it again, but it's going to happen again and again and again because we're not doing what we have to be doing. It's going to happen again and again and again. And we are not doing what we're supposed to be doing. We are taking in thousands of people into our country. We have no idea where they come from. We have no idea who the hell they are. We know they believe in certain things that we don't want to believe in. You know, I said the other day, and I said it very strongly, I have great respect for women. If you look at what Hillary Clinton has done, I have tremendous respect. If you look at what Hillary Clinton has done with women, number one, from certain countries, her foundation has taken millions, tens of millions of dollars from countries that want to enslave women, want to enslave women. As far as the gay community, they kill gays. And she's taking money in. And now she wants to allow them to come into our country pretty much unvetted, because every law enforcement person that I've spoken to, and that you watch and that you read, is saying it's very hard, if not impossible, to check out people. There's just no papers. There are no papers. And yet you see this great migration, which is a horrible thing to watch. And by the way, I have a heart as big as anybody else. We have to build safe zones over there, and we have to take care of people. Let's build safe zones, but build them over there. Build them in Syria. Build them in places over there. Thank you. We have to build safe zones. We have to work, you know, it's humanity. It's humanity. But we have so many problems here. But we build safe zones over there, and now here's where the deal-making comes in, or whatever you want to call it. We have to get the Gulf states to pay for it. They have tremendous amounts of money. They're not doing much, and it's their territory, and we have to get them to pay for it. We have to get them to pay for it. We owe $19 trillion right now. We owe $19 trillion right now. We have Hillary wants to bring people in, spend billions and billions of dollars on bringing people in. As to whether they assimilate or not, you make the decision. But assimilation has not been exactly a positive factor. So she wants to spend all of this money, and her increase on bringing these people in is 550% more than Obama, who doesn't have a clue. He doesn't know what he's doing, okay? He doesn't know what he's doing. Very sad. It's very sad. So when you look at Sharia, and you look at the beliefs of Sharia, and it's called execution for things that you would say are like standard parts of life, what they do to people. And we have people coming in, and do not kid yourself, that's what they believe, that's what they want, that's what they practice, and we're taking these people in. So I will tell you, the LGBT community, the gay community, the lesbian community, they are so much in favor of what I've been saying over the last 3 or 4 days. A friend of mine called up. He said, you know, you don't get enough credit because in Palm Beach, you opened a club that nobody would do, and it's open to everybody. It's open to everybody. And a person, a member of the club, great guy, who's gay, wrote this magnificent letter saying what Donald Trump did, nobody else would do. And we are getting a tremendous, thank you. We are getting a tremendous amount of credit because over the last 3 days, people are realizing, what's going on. And we have to treat people great, but we have to treat everybody great. It's got to be, you know, when I say make America great again, it's great again for everybody. We have to say for everybody. We have to. Thank you. And, you know, we have a simple theme. It's called Make America Great Again. Now, a lot of people said I copied from Ronald Reagan. I didn't, because his theme was different. I didn't even know this, but it's called, his was Let's Make America Great. That's different. We are Make America Great Again, but we're adding to it because we really have to add, and I'm adding, as we go along, as we get older and wiser, make America great again, make America safe again, and let it include everybody, because that's what we have to do. We want it to include everybody, okay? We want it to include everybody. And we have to stop on a temporary basis, at least, but we have to stop people from pouring into our country. We have to stop it. Until we find out what the hell is going on. And we can do that. But we have to have people come in that cherish us, that love us, that want to love us, that want to do things that don't want to destroy us, that don't want to go to a club where you have innocent people and where you had no guns on the other side. By the way, I'm going to save your Second Amendment, okay? I'm going to save your Second Amendment. If some of those great people that were in that club that night had guns strapped to their waist or strapped to their ankle, and if the bullets were going in the other direction, aimed at this guy who was just open target practice, you would have had a situation, folks, which would have been always horrible, but nothing like the carnage that we all as a people suffered this weekend. Nothing. And a lot of people aren't realizing this. You know, you take a look at Paris. Paris has, they say, the toughest gun laws in the world. France, generally speaking, the toughest in the world. And these thugs walked in. They used to call them the press masterminds. I said, you can't call them masterminds. That's why the young kids are joining. They're joining ISIS. They want to be a mastermind. But thugs, these thugs, I call them the guy with the dirty white cap. The thugs walked in to different places, boom, 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 boom. There was nobody with guns, nobody on the other side. There was nobody could do anything. And they got killed, 130 people killed, viciously killed, hundreds still in the hospital with the most horrible injuries. And now we have the same thing in Orlando. And then last night you had a police officer and his wife were killed the same way. And he put it over Facebook. The killer put it on Facebook. Same kind of a thing. And it's happening all over. And it's getting worse. And it's going to continue to get worse until they respect us, folks. They've got to respect us. They have no respect for us whatsoever. We're trying to be nice. We have a president who wants to be so politically correct that he doesn't want to use the term radical Islamic terrorism. Doesn't want to use it. He gives a speech yesterday, a long speech that at the end of it, nobody knew what the hell he was talking about. Nobody knew. He's trying to justify why he won't use, and he said radical Islam, because he didn't want to use the word terrorism, if you notice. Why he won't use that term or why he doesn't use it and how it doesn't make any difference, but it does make a difference. It makes a difference, and it makes a big difference, because unless you're willing to discuss and talk about the real nature of the problem and the name of the problem, radical Islamic terrorism, you're never going to solve the problem. And then crooked Hillary Clinton gets up the other day, and she wouldn't use the term. She wouldn't use it. But I was hitting her hard on it, very hard. And finally she gets up, and she said, I would use it. She, you know, and by the way, the press didn't report this. They said she used the term. They didn't say about Trump, many of them. Some of them are fair, but many of them, most of them are very dishonest. It's very hard to get the word out, I'm telling you. It's very hard to get the accurate word out, because I made a speech yesterday in North Carolina. We got standing ovations, a packed house. I go back, and they're talking about the speech. It like had nothing to do with what I was even talking about. They are the worst, believe me. But Hillary Clinton gets up, and she sort of acted like no problem using the term. And she said, I would use the term, but she didn't use it. But she didn't call it radical Islamic terrorism. She said radical Islamism. And I'm not saying that's wrong. Let's see how much she uses it. You know, she'll basically do whatever Obama wants her to do. You understand why, because that whole thing is just ridiculous what's going on there. That's just ridiculous. How that can happen in our country today is absolutely one of the great insults to law enforcement. And let's see what happens. But she's being totally protected. She's being 100% protected. Now, maybe we'll all be surprised. And maybe our laws will work the way they're supposed to work. But you know what, folks? I think if something was going to happen on the crimes that have been committed, I would have assumed it would have happened already, don't you think? Don't you think? So let's see what happens. But when you get right down and you look at it, we have got to be respected. We don't have to be liked so much. We have to be respected. I don't want to be feared. You could take it another step. Fear, it's not fear. We have to be respected. We're not respected by these people. They come into our country, they want to take it over. Now, look at what's happening in Germany, a catastrophe. I have friends from Germany that for 20 years have been telling me how great Germany is, what a great place to live. Some of these people are leaving the country now. They're leaving. Their crime rate is through the roof. Things are happening that are horrendous. And you see what's happening to women. You see what's happening all over Germany now. It was a horrific mistake. It was a terrible mistake. Now, they'll say it wasn't, it's wonderful. You build, as I said, and if Germany had it to do again, I don't think that she would ever admit it. And let's see how she does in the next election, assuming there's going to be an election and she's going to run. But if Germany had it to do again, I'm sure they would have put up billions of dollars to do just as I said. Safe zones in Syria, make them nice. Anything's cheaper and anything's better than what's going on now in Germany and other countries. So Belgium is a beautiful city and an amazing place, magnificent buildings. I was there many, many years ago, and I had always this incredible image. And a number of months ago, I made the statement, something to the effect, Belgium's a hellhole. And I was badly criticized. They said, what a terrible thing. And then they had the massive problem in Belgium. And people said, Trump was right. Trump was right. I don't want to be right. I don't want to be right. I don't want to be right. But you look at what's going on in Paris. You look at what's going on in different places, all over, different places. You know it. I know it. They know it. They don't want to talk about it. We don't want to have these problems. And we've already got them. Look at this weekend. We don't want to have these problems. So what I'm saying is it's a temporary ban, in particular for certain people coming from certain horrible, where you have tremendous terrorism in the world. You know what those places are. But we have to put a stop to it. We have to put a stop to it until such time as we can figure out what is going on. Because right now, we don't have a clue what's going on, folks. We don't have a clue. We don't know even a little bit what's going on. And we have to be the smart country now. We've been the dummies for too long. We have to be the smart. We have to be the brilliant country. We have to show, and we have to help, and we have to take care of people, but we have to be smart. With the kind of money that we owe, $19 trillion, going to $21 trillion very shortly because of the omnibus budget that was passed, going to $21 trillion, we can't be doing this, and this isn't even the money. This is beyond the money. Because even if you had a small percentage of people coming in thinking like this person, who again was born here, but his parents weren't, and his ideas weren't born here. His ideas were born from someplace else. And in speaking to numerous governors over the last few days, really a great group of people, and in speaking to them, they really are beside themselves because they say people are being put in our states and they have absolutely nothing to say about it. They don't know who they are, where they are. They don't know where they're being placed. And even from the standpoint of law enforcement, that's a bad thing because they can't watch, they can't see what's going on. And we aren't vigilant and we aren't smart. And we have to go and we have to maybe check respectfully the mosques, and we have to check other places because this is a problem that if we don't solve it, it's going to eat our country alive, okay? It's going to eat our country alive. And we can be weak and we can be ineffective like we are now. Right now, everything is political correctness. If you watched Obama's speech yesterday, it was really all about political correctness. There's nothing wrong with being strong. There's nothing wrong with being smart. It was all about political correctness. And we have to make sure, thank you. We have to make sure, so important, that we now go down the right path because we're going down a wrong path and our country is in serious trouble, okay? All right. Serious trouble. Now, we have a lot of things going on in addition, and right now there is no addition because of what happened, but in addition, we have things going on that are terrible. We're being eaten alive on the jobs market. Our jobs are being taken out of our country. If you look at what's happened as an example with NAFTA, yes, right? NAFTA has taken our jobs out of our country, brought them to other places. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, a very respectful person. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. By the way, somebody just said, and you're right, I was fully endorsed. I think it was the earliest endorsement ever by the National Rifle Association, the NRA, so that was good. Thank you. So when I started on June 16th, almost 1 year ago, thank you. I always say, be nice to our protester. Be nice to our protester. Be very gentle. Be very, very gentle. All right. Thank you. I have to tell you, by the way, is there any better place to be than a Trump rally, in all fairness, right? Is there any better place to be? I'll tell you. You know, a friend of mine said to me, look at this crowd up there, it's packed. I can hardly see them up there. There's so many lights. Thank you. This place is packed. But a friend of mine, very, very successful guy, came up to me, and he saw the rally in Dallas where we had 20,000, 21,000 people in the Mavericks Arena. He saw the rally in Mobile, Alabama, where we had 35,000 people. He sees these massive rallies. And look at this today, and a lot of people outside trying to get in. Would anybody like to give up their seat, let some people in? No? So, but he saw these big places, and this is one of the most successful people. And he came with me, and he said, how the hell do you do that in front of so many people? And I told him, and I absolutely mean this, I said, it's easy, because there's so much love in the room. It's true. There's so much love in these rooms. It's incredible. And, you know, it's really true. I mean, it's easy in a sense because there is great love. And it's people that want to see our country do great things, do wonderful things, be strong again. They want their jobs back. They want their wages to go up. They want their wages to go up. They want to manufacture things again. You look at the manufacturing in our country. When I won New York and Pennsylvania and Connecticut and Maryland and all these different places, especially. But when I won New England, we won tremendous. We won Massachusetts. That's because Tom Brady likes me, but, you know. But we won so many different states. And I have statisticians. They love their job. It's the most boring job, but they love it, right? And I'd say, give me the information on New York. And I'd look in New York State, almost a 50% reduction in manufacturing jobs. They left. Why did they leave? Because of NAFTA. Signed by who? Bill Clinton. He signed NAFTA. Now, you know, Clinton went through it, but what he caused other presidents in the later years, because jobs were just sucked out of our country. And they moved to other places, mostly to Mexico. They moved to other places. And then you look at what China's done to us in terms of their devaluations, and nobody even mentions it. Nobody talks about it. We are being killed. Our companies are being destroyed because of devaluation from China and other places. I use China because it's the greatest abuser, but everybody. China is the biggest, but everybody. They devalue and devalue. They're having a hard time. They devalue. They take more of our business. And then they bring product into our country, and they put it in. They dump it in some cases. Look at what's happening to steel, where they dump massive amounts of steel. They're driving our steel industry out of business, all right? And our workers out of business. But they bring their product in, no tax. If you want to go into China, and if you're a manufacturer, and there are plenty of them, they can't get their product into China because the tax is massive, and even without the tax, China won't let them get their product in. We are being misled by people that don't know what they're doing, folks. Now, a lot of the Republicans, a lot of the conservatives, you know, when I was in the start of the race, they sort of gave that one up. I mean, Jeb, as an example, he's a nice person. No, he is. But he would stand there, and he would say, he is not a conservative. And I said, who cares? We want to make good deals. We want to make good deals. I don't care. But he'd say, I'm not because I don't believe in free trade. But you see, I do believe in free trade. But to have free trade, you have to have smart people on your side doing the negotiation. And we have political hacks that don't know what they're doing, or worse than that. Who knows why? Because some of these deals are so bad, you almost say, this is not just stupidity. This has to be a bigger reason, and a much worse reason, and a much more sinister reason. How can it be possible that we allow these horrible deals to be made? How can it be possible? But Jeb and others would say, he doesn't believe in free trade. Okay, you ready? I believe in free trade. But the other day, one of the anchors asked me, well, what do you think about free trade? I said, it's great, but I like other things. What's your favorite trade? I said, you know what my favorite trade is? I want to make good deals. That's my favorite trade. I don't care. You call it free trade. You can call it fair trade. You can call it XYZ trade. I don't care what you call it. We'll call it, there's so many different ways of making deals. I want to make great deals for the United States, for the people of the United States. I want to bring our jobs back. I want to get our income up. I want to save Social Security where everyone else wants to cut the hell out of it. I want to save you Medicare. But, you know, it's true. They said, this happened like a month ago. I don't know, it was just something, they were saying, what kind of a deal? How would you describe? And I said to myself, wow, I think I'm going to say it. And I said, I want to make good deals. That's what I want to do. I want to make good deals. And I don't care what label you call them. But we are making the worst deals. We are having the blood sucked out of our country. You know, I give this expression, and I told this story a couple of times, which I find interesting. Who the hell knows, if you will, but I'll give it to you anyway. Should I tell it? And he's probably watching. But a friend of mine is very tough. He's a very tough guy, a good guy, got a good heart. But he's a very tough man. And he was diagnosed with a terminal illness, totally. He was going to last for a month. And that was like over a year ago. But he was going to last for a month. But he's tough as hell. And he didn't believe it. And he said, I'm going to beat it. I'm going to beat it. And what happened is he kept fighting and kept fighting. And that was, boy, it's been a long time. But he was supposed to be around for 3 or 4 weeks. And he's around now, and it's been way more than a year. And I'll call every couple of days, how you doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Donald. I'm telling you, I'm doing really good. And I said to myself, it's amazing how strong, right? Some people. And I said to myself, it's a little bit like our country. We're having the blood sucked out of us. We're having horrible things happen where we're allowing people into our country that don't deserve to be in our country, and bad things are going to be happening. And I know people are going to criticize me. They're going to say, oh, what a horrible thing that is. What a horrible thing. And in a year or two or three from now, they'll say, you know, Trump was right, but he's right now building buildings someplace. Okay? I'll be right. I don't want to be right. Boy, I don't want to be right. But it reminded me of that. It reminded me of all these horrible trade deals where a China can suck out billions of dollars. They can do whatever they want to their currency. They can manipulate their currency to the point where it's impossible for us to compete with them, our companies. I mean, you take a look. We don't make televisions anymore. We don't make so many things anymore. We don't make them. You look at other countries. You look at South Korea. I like South Korea. You look at these countries. You look at Japan. You look at all of this. Look at Saudi Arabia. We protect Saudi Arabia. We protect them. They pay us peanuts. They wouldn't be there. They pay us peanuts. We have military bases where we actually pay rent. We're paying rent. We're paying rent to protect other people. We're paying rent. Okay, think of it. Just think of it. Go home and think about it. But listen. So we have Japan, and it's so sad. And by the way, just to finish up, my friend, it's amazing that our country can continue to survive. But you know, eventually, it's not going to survive, just so you understand. Eventually, it's not. This guy is an amazing guy. Our country is an amazing country. It's amazing that our country can be abused so badly and not survive. It's just amazing and continue to survive. But it's not going to continue to survive like this. It can't. It's impossible. It's impossible. And by the way, before we even get on to the other subject that I want to discuss, judges, Supreme Court judges. We talk about survival of a country. And immediately when I started talking about the survival of the country, I said to myself, well, let's mention it now, whether it's an appropriate location or not. Supreme Court justices. We lost a great one in Judge Scalia. We have to replace Judge Scalia with a conservative, great judge. It could be that the next president will have 3 choices, and could be 4, and it could even be 5, record-setting stuff, just by the way it's looking. I mean, who would have thought Scalia would be gone? That was supposed to be for years, 10 years left, 12 years left, 14, 15 years left, and gone, boom. It could be the next president's going to have 5 judges, probably 3, could very well be 4, could even be 5, though. If Hillary gets in, or whoever it is, because I can't believe she's going to be allowed to run, to be honest with you. But if Hillary gets in, you will have a Supreme Court that will destroy our country as we know it. Just remember that. It will destroy. We will have Venezuela. You see what's happening in Venezuela. We're getting fairly close to that anyway. But we will have Venezuela. We will have something that you won't even recognize. So some people love me. I mean, my problem is they love me or they hate me. They either love me or they hate me. But some people, they love Trump. They'll do anything for Trump, and some people don't like me too much. But I'll tell you what, just remember, Supreme Court judges, because it's one of the, I always say defense, most important, always defense, borders, defense. But Supreme Court judges is so important. No, don't worry about it. We're going to build the wall. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. We're going to build the wall. We're going to build the wall. And by the way, a few weeks ago, I got endorsed by 16,500 Border Patrol agents. They've never endorsed a presidential candidate before. And I said to them, how important is the wall? I want to be sure. You know, the White House, by the way, did you see in the White House? They're approving a major increase in the size of their so-called wall. Yeah, get them out of here. Get them out of here, folks. Hey, by the way, how great are our police? Are we lucky? How great are our police? Who do not get enough credit, folks. They do not get enough credit. All right, officer, thank you very much. So the White House, they're building a much higher fence, wall, whatever you want to call it, because they don't want people coming in. So, you know, you can't have it all these different ways. And I hate to say it, but if you look back into history a long time ago, look at what Hillary wanted to build. It was a wall or a fence or it was something. I don't think she ever knew because I'm not sure she really understands the difference too much. But she wanted something built. And you know, they were actually going to build it. And you know why they couldn't build it? Because they couldn't get their environmental impact statements approved. Can you believe it? There was probably a toad or a snail or a snake, maybe a rattlesnake in the way. And it's true, they could not get their environmental impact statements approved. And I've had so many approved for jobs, but they couldn't get it approved. Now think about this. China, who's taken our wealth, has taken tremendous amounts of our wealth. China should love us, right? And I love China. And by the way, Mexico, great. China, great. They're all great. I wish our leaders knew what they were doing because we should be doing to them what they're doing to us, folks. I have no grudges. I have no grudges. China should love us. But you know what? They're making a fortune off us. They're taking our jobs, our money, everything. You know, we owe China $1.8 trillion right now. Do you know? Think about it. We owe them money. They're taking everything and we owe them money. It's supposed to be the other way around. Japan, we owe $1.6 trillion. Trillion dollars. We owe them money. They put their cars in here by the millions. By the millions. You got to see Los Angeles. You'll see the largest ships in the world. You'll see cars coming like it's NASCAR. And Brian France, by the way, endorsed me, but we won't even mention that. Brian France is a great guy. NASCAR. But it looks like NASCAR. They're coming off those boats. So think of it. We have all of these places. They benefit by us, and we don't benefit by them. But we owe Japan $1.6 trillion. So they sell their cars, we owe them money. That's like a magic act, okay? That's like a magic act. It's supposed to be the other way around. So here's the story, folks. We're going to be so strong again. We're going to be so smart. I brought up a couple of things, and the press never reports this. This is something. So you remember a couple of months ago, I was on CNN. And again, I'm a business guy. I've done great things. I've built a great company and all of that stuff, right? But thank you. Great company. But here's the thing. So Wolf Blitzer is interviewing me, and he said, "What do you think of NATO?" And I'm saying to myself, I'm not sure that question's ever been asked of me before. But I said two things. I said, number one, it's obsolete. Okay? And I said, number two, we have all these nations, and from what I understand, they don't pay their bills. And, you know, in real estate, we'd say they're delinquent. But they're delinquent. They're not paying. They're not supposed to, they're not paying. Some aren't paying what they're supposed to be paying. And we have agreements. Now, we're supposed to defend them. We're supposed to go into World War III to defend these people, and they're not even paying us. So this isn't 40 years ago, and this isn't 20 years ago. This is now. We can't do these things anymore. So they said, what do you think of NATO? I said, obsolete, because it doesn't cover terrorism, among other things. But I said, because it's really not set up. In fact, they even have the wrong countries, if you want to really be technical, right, for terrorism. So I said, you know, Wolf, it's obsolete. And he's a good guy, by the way. It's obsolete, and a lot of countries aren't paying us what they should be paying because we're protecting these countries. We have the seal of the United States in these countries. So Russia, which was originally the Soviet Union when it was done, now it's Russia, but Russia's plenty powerful, so let's call that a draw because, you know, it was originally done primarily because of the Soviet Union, which is different, but now because of their military, right? And frankly, Putin has built up their military again and again and again. Their military is much stronger. He's doing nuclear. We're not doing anything. Our nuclear is old and tired, and his nuclear is tippy-top from what I hear. Better be careful, folks, okay? You better be careful. So what I said is this. I got killed by the press. Oh, Trump said NATO's obsolete. And Hillary said, Trump wants to get rid of NATO. I don't want to get rid of NATO. That's what I mean. I say something like that, and it was totally misinterpreted by the press, purposely. So I said very simply, it's obsolete because it doesn't cover terrorism, and people aren't paying up, okay? Fairly good statement. And it turned out that just about everybody other than 5 countries, and probably those 5 maybe are also not paying up like they're supposed to. And we're losing a fortune. We're spending a fortune on NATO. So I said this. Now, it was met with unbelievable anguish and lies and horror. I said, man, am I getting killed on NATO? And then about 3 or 4 days later, people that really study it closely, the real experts, said, you know, Trump is right. You know, he's right. You ever hear the expression? And these are experts. These are good people. But you ever hear the expression? They couldn't see the forest for the trees, right? Right? They're studying every day for their whole life. They're studying NATO. Let's do this. Let's do that. Ba, ba, ba. In the meantime, the big picture, they can't see. Okay? They don't do it on purpose. It just, so all of a sudden I start hearing like I'm being absolutely killed by the press. Or what I thought was actually a pretty good answer. And again, it's not my main subject in life. Okay? It will be if you elect me. That will be, and along with everything else. And I'm a very good student. I learn very quickly, folks. I mean, like, as an example, I've been doing this for less than a year, and here we are, and everybody else is home, right? So I've done a good job. Have I done a good job? Have I done a good job? So I was being just killed by the press. Then, all of a sudden, reports start coming out that, you know, Trump's right. Okay. Last week, on the front page of the Wall Street Journal, headline, NATO to set up terrorism group. Exactly what I said. Exactly what I said. Exactly. NATO to set up terrorism group. And then they said they're going to take one of the top generals or whatever, and they're putting him in charge, and this group is going to be great now. Okay, all these things. And they had in there a little tiny few words. Donald Trump thought they should be done. Believe me, folks, if I didn't bring it up, you would never have it. You would never have it. And I never said, by the way, and I have to say, because there's so many lies, I actually put out a tweet, at Real Donald Trump, everybody, but I put out a tweet today. And I said, I'm covered so inaccurately by the press that we're going to have to just do it ourselves. We have to do it by word of mouth, because I'm covered so inaccurately. But NATO, I never said, let's abandon NATO. If you listen to Hillary Clinton, it's like Donald Trump doesn't want NATO, as she reads from teleprompter. Donald Trump doesn't want NATO. And then the press goes, oh, that was such a great speech. She was so great. In fact, when she got off on one of them, I said, boy, she did a poor job. Then I turned on the television. Oh, she was great. She's got her voice. She's got her voice back, finally. She's got, oh, it's so great. I say, what's going on here? But she reads off, she uses a lot. I like using them on occasion, too, by the way. It's not so bad. Actually, I've been given good reviews where I use crazy teleprompters. Can you believe it? But I like this much better. Don't we like this much better? I like this much. So Hillary Clinton goes around saying, I want to get rid of NATO. Then she goes around saying, Donald Trump wants Japan to go nuclear. I don't want Japan. I don't want him to go nuclear, folks. There's nobody that understands the horror of nuclear better than me. And I'm okay with an Iran deal, but not the deal they made. It's a horrible deal. And by the way, a horrible, horrible, horrible deal for Israel. Okay? Horrible. The Iran deal that the United States made by people that are incompetent is a horrible deal for Israel and for us, but a horrible deal for Israel. So I don't want Japan to go nuclear. But a lot of people didn't know, and if I wasn't running, you'd never know, we take care of the military needs of Japan. Did you know that? Did everyone know that? I mean, before I started talking about it 2 weeks ago. I mean, nobody knew that. A lot of people didn't know about it. We take care of the military needs of Germany. We take care of the military needs of South Korea, that we know pretty much, a lot of it. We take care of the military needs, a lot of it, pretty much all of it, of Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi Arabia, think of this. I have a lot of friends in Saudi Arabia. Look, Saudi Arabia, don't forget, these are the people that gave many, many millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation. I wonder why we take care of them. Wonder. And for the women out there, ask the people of Saudi Arabia what they think of women. And for the gays out there, ask the gays and ask the people. Ask the gays what they think and what they do in not only Saudi Arabia, in many of these countries with the gay community. Just ask. And then you tell me, who's your friend, Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton? You tell me. You tell me. Now, Saudi Arabia, remember this, was making $1 billion a day before the oil went down. Now they're making a lot. We defend them. We defend them. Every time somebody maybe makes a threat, there go the ships, there go the planes, there goes everything. You know, every time you turn on one of those aircraft carriers, it costs you probably $1 million. I'd say, don't turn it on. The captain would say, we want to show you how great these engines are working. No, I don't want to hear it, just don't. But every time this happens, is that a protest? He's very late to the game. Is he friend or foe? I don't even know. Friend or foe? Oh, he's foe? Get him the hell out. Don't hurt him, please. Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. We got to love everybody. We even have to love our protesters. But you know, the agitators that we have sometimes, very rarely, but the agitators that burn the American flag, that's not right. And those are professionals. You know, when you see the full mask, one of the policemen told me, Mr. Trump, when you see that full mask, that means they're professionals, because they don't want to be seen. That means they're professionals. We know what we're doing, folks, believe me. We know what we're doing. So when you look at Saudi Arabia, they were making $1 billion a day. We defend them. Now, I know this. We're all pretty good, a lot of good businessmen. I know 4 or 5 guys that are very successful people that are friends of mine here in this crowd. I guarantee you I could take any one of those 5 people. I could take many of the people in the room, maybe most of them. And anybody could go to Saudi Arabia and say, listen, you got to pay us more money. They got nothing but money, folks. They got so much money, it's pouring out of their ears. They got so much money. And we're defending them, and we're not getting paid for what we're doing. We're getting a fraction. We're getting peanuts. Now, we're defending Japan. That's big stuff. And we have a treaty with Japan that if Japan gets attacked, we have to come to their aid, probably start World War III. If we get attacked, Japan doesn't have to do anything. They can watch them on Sony television, right? Right? That's the way it is. That's the way we negotiate, folks. Those days are over. Those days are over. Now, what I said and what the press refuses to report, other than a David Sanger for the New York Times, who actually wrote a very fair story, you know, they'll leave half. And remember this, when you negotiate, you always have to be prepared to walk away. Now, Hillary Clinton, just to show you what a rank amateur she is, Donald Trump wants to walk away. He wants Japan to go nuclear. I would never walk away, she said. Okay, once she says that, you can't negotiate a good deal, folks. You can't negotiate a good deal. In other words, she has now told Japan that we're not going to walk away. You have to be prepared, and it's possible that we will walk away. It's possible. I don't think so, because I think they'll come up to the plate. I think they'll come up to the plate. But when you let people know that you're not walking away, you'll always be, how would you like to be in that position? where she's criticizing me for potentially walking away in order to make a great deal for you, not for me, for you. And now she has to go there, let's say. Hopefully that's not going to happen. And she wants to get billions and billions and billions of dollars of extra money for the United States where we need it. She can't do it because she's told them, under no circumstances will we let you be out there by yourselves, okay? We got to be able to walk away, folks. But I think it won't happen. It could happen that we'll have a couple of days where I wonder if they'll call back. That could happen. And it could very well be that Japan will have to protect themselves. I'm not saying nuclear. Maybe they'll use nuclear. Maybe they won't. I don't know. And, you know, you have the maniac in North Korea, and, you know, they maybe have to do something. Right now, if he acts badly toward Japan, we end up in a world war. If somebody else acts badly toward other nations, when you look at NATO, what do we end up in a war? And they're not even paying us. How stupid are we, folks? How stupid are we? How stupid are we? And the press doesn't report it right. The press comes out with stories like, Donald Trump doesn't want to support Japan. I do want to support Japan. I just want them to pay us so it's fair, okay? It's fair. It's fair. Obama had a general get on television, and he said, the general, I sort of found it amazing, but he said, Mr. Trump is wrong when he talks about supporting Japan. Doesn't he understand that they pay for 50% the cost of what we're doing for them? Doesn't he understand that? And I said, they called me about it. I said, but why aren't they paying for 100%? Why? 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 And you know this. If he said it's 50%, you know it's a hell of a lot lower than that. Do you agree with that? So Germany, they're a behemoth. They are making fortunes. Germany, they make our windmills. They make all these windmills you see all over the farms or all over the place. They're killing the birds like crazy, but I don't say that. They're made in Germany. They're made in China. They're made in China. They're made all over. We put them up, and then we subsidize them for the rest of everybody's life, you know. But I will tell you this. Look, they are making fortunes. We pretend them. South Korea. I love South Korea. I have buildings in South Korea. I've done jobs in South Korea. It's great. We have right now 28,000 soldiers on the line between North and South. Right? 28,000 soldiers. They pay us peanuts. Peanuts. And every time he acts up from North Korea, he acts up. You know, he has his little fits. Okay? He acts up. And every time he acts up, South Korea says, oh. And we start sending our ships or planes or this or that, right? They pay us peanuts compared to the cost of this. Now, think of it. And then one of the papers called the other day, and they said, would you speak to the leader of North Korea? I said, absolutely. Why not? Why not? And they come out, Trump would speak to him. Who the hell cares? I'll speak to anybody. Who knows? There's a 10% or a 20% chance that I can talk him out of those damn nukes, because who the hell wants him to have nukes? And there's a chance. I'm only going to make a good deal for us, but there's a chance. But it was like, and Hillary said, he would deal with this dictator. You know, give me a break. Oh, you know what? I know they've been doing it a long time, folks. They are rank amateurs, okay? Hillary is a rank amateur. She's been doing it forever, and she still doesn't get it. What the hell is wrong with speaking? And you know what? It's called opening a dialogue. It's opening a dialogue. And I don't say it's going to happen, and probably it won't. But there's nothing. I wouldn't go there. That I can tell you. If he came here, I'd accept him. But I wouldn't give him a state dinner like we do for China and all these other people that rip us off, or we give them these big state dinners. We give them state dinners like you've never seen. We shouldn't have dinners at all. We should be eating a hamburger on a conference table, and we should make better deals with China and others. And forget the state dinners. You forget the state dinners. That cost, by the way, a fortune. That cost a fortune. Do you remember when I saw a state dinner, and it's a tent, which is actually unsafe, you know, canvas. It's a tent on the White House lawn. And I actually called up the Obama administration, and I said, I will build you free a 100 million or more ballroom. I'll build it for you. We'll choose 5 great American architects. We'll design something that everybody likes called a charrette. We'll design something that everybody likes. And instead of having a tent, which looks like hell, no, I mean, a tent is, can you imagine the guy that owns that tent company? Do you think he's making a couple of bucks, assuming they probably use him? They probably have somebody, probably retires after he does one event. But instead of having a tent on the White House lawn, I will build you in the least conspicuous place. You know, it is the White House, right? We will build a great, great grand ballroom, and I will pay for 100% the cost. And you know what happened? I spoke to a very important man in the administration. He knows who it is. He's actually already said I spoke to him. Not a bad man either, David Axelrod. I spoke to him. I said, David, I'll build the ballroom. I'll put up all the money. We'll take 5 great architects, all from America. A little appropriate, right? You know. And I'll build a great ballroom. Bigger than your tent. So beautiful. It'll go so beautifully with the White House. It'll be great. I never heard back. Now, if I was at the White House, I'd say, let's talk a little more. Come on, let's go. But we don't do that because for some reason, we just don't have that. It's just something, there's something wrong. There's something missing. There's something. Now, in our greatness, many years ago, they would have called. They wouldn't have called. It was before the phone. But they would have had that built. They would have said, this sucker wants to give us a free ballroom. Let's take it. So anyway, just a little story. I have so many little stories. I should write. I think I'll have to write another book. Do you think? But when you look at the kind of numbers we're talking about for the military. Now, let's assume I got Saudi Arabia to pay us fair. I don't want a lot. I want fair. Let's assume I got Germany and Japan to pay us fair. And again, Hillary can't do it because she said, you know, we would never leave our partners, our allies, or this or that. So these Japanese guys are sitting back there like, do you believe this? So when you walk in, we would like you to pay a little more. Absolutely not. When I walk in, what do you want? What do you want? And I have to tell you, this was said by a great man, very famous man. And he called me. And he said, Donald, I have to tell you, I thought you were totally wrong in your level of toughness with foreign countries. I thought you were wrong 5, 6, 7 months ago. I've been watching what's going on, and I totally thought you were wrong. And you were 100% right. These countries are calling me saying, what do we have to do to make Trump happy? What do we have to do? How much will it cost? What do we have to do? We don't like this. If he wins, what do we have to do to make Trump happy? So amazing. So we are going to start winning again, folks. We are going to start winning again. We're going to start winning. We're going to end Obamacare. We're going to repeal it and replace it. And by the way, Obamacare is a total disaster. I don't know if you saw Texas going through Obamacare. You have Blue Cross Blue Shield, a 60% increase, 60. And here's the story. And this is election-changing stuff. On November 1st, the numbers are going to come out on Obamacare. President Obama wants to delay the numbers till December 1st. I tell my Republican colleagues, please don't do that. Because Obama's a lousy negotiator, except when it comes to the Republicans. He's a great negotiator, okay? You know, the Republicans, honestly, folks, our leaders have to get tougher. This is too tough to do it alone. But you know what? I think I'm going to be forced to. I think I'm going to be forced to. Our leaders have to get a lot tougher. And be quiet. Just please be quiet. Don't talk. Please be quiet. Just be quiet to the leaders. Because they have to get tougher. They have to get sharper. They have to get smarter. We have to have our Republicans either stick together or let me just do it by myself. I'll do very well. I'm going to do very well. Okay? I'm going to do very well. A lot of people thought I should do that anyway. But I'll just do it very nicely by myself. I think you're going to have a very good result. I think we'll be very happy. I'll run as a Republican. Just, I don't, you know, the endorsement thing? I've got, by the way, I've gotten tremendous endorsements. But if I don't get them, that's okay. We're going to run, we're going to win. And here's what we're going to do when we win. We're going to make our country so great again. Think of what I said on the military. Now, there's a thing that I'll bet you never heard of in all of the years that you've been listening to politicians talk, right? I'll bet you never heard the fact that we are losing hundreds of billions of dollars taking care of the military needs of other rich countries. Richer than us, in a sense, okay? Richer than us, in a true sense. So I'll bet you never heard that, right? Just like they never heard about NATO being obsolete. And now they're going to form because of terrorism, and now they're forming a terrorism unit. There are many things. Just like I said, take the oil. Don't go into Iraq, don't go into Iraq, don't go into Iraq. They go into Iraq. For years I was saying, don't go into Iraq. At the beginning, by the way, they try and say, well, you know, we have a... Let me tell you, I was always against going to Iraq because you're going to destabilize the Middle East. So I said, don't go into Iraq. They went into Iraq. When they came out, and for years I've been saying, when you leave, it's not going to be good. Take the oil. Guess what? They didn't take the oil. We're led by stupid people, folks. We're led by stupid people. So we're going to get rid of Common Core. By the way, we're going to bring our educational up. And I told you, and the people that head up the NRA are great people. Wayne and Chris, and they love this country. And I told you, we're going to protect that Second Amendment because it is under siege. Hillary Clinton essentially wants to abolish the Second Amendment. It is under siege, and we're going to protect it. Remember that. We're going to start winning again. And you have to get out there in November, and I'll be back. And we're doing great in Georgia. I looked at a poll today in Georgia. We're doing good in Georgia, just like we did in the primary. And Herschel Walker endorsed me also. I love Herschel. We love Herschel. It was tough. Remember Herschel Walker running? Boy, I tell you what, that was not an easy one to bring down, was it, folks? I think we could use another Herschel on the team. But we're going to start winning again. We're going to be winners instead of losers, because all we do is lose. We lose on trade. We lose with the military. We can't beat ISIS. We lose at every level. We're going to start winning again, folks. We are going to make America great again. We are going to make America safe again. We're going to include everybody with us. We're going to bring everybody with us. But we're going to win with the military. We're going to win with trade. We're going to win on the borders. We're going to win with education, where we're ranked so poorly. We're going to win with our Second Amendment. We're going to win with health care. We're going to have a great plan that's far less expensive, a great plan. We're going to win so much that you're going to say, Mr. President, we can't take it anymore. We're not used to it. We're winning too much, Mr. President. Please, you have to stop winning so much. And I'm going to say, I'm sorry. We're going to keep winning. We're going to make America great again. Thank you very much. I love you. I love you, Georgia. I love Georgia. Thank you, Atlanta.